for my second set of petals. So I'm rolling this out flat, this second layer. I'm not making it with any knob in there, making sure that it moves loosely on the board. And I'll take my freesia cutter, cut out another shape, run my fingers over it. Excess goes away. It's a good habit to get into so that your gum paste doesn't dry out. And I'm going to do the same thing with this petal that I did with the first set. I'll put it on here. Maybe you can see. I'm going to back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right there at that wide edge. And then using the hibiscus, I'm going to press with my sponge. Press. Get it nice and marked up. Take it over onto my petal pad. Now I want to make sure that the vein side is down when I'm softening, and that way I don't ruin a lot of that pretty veining when I do my softening, which tends to rub out any design you do. And starting from the outer edge up to the inner edge, I'm going to make it thinner and curvier. And you can make it as curvy as you want to. Then keeping it the veined side down, putting it on the cosmetic sponge. I'm going to do the indentation again. All these, there's just that little bit of a bump there in the center. Flipping it over now, I'll use the toothpick again with the point, the narrower point towards the outer edge, loop up my little edges and pinch a point. I find that if I have the very end of the petal kind of over the edge of the cosmetic sponge, I tend to get a nicer curve upward and a better point. There we go. So just the littlest bit of gum glue here in the center. And I'll take this and press it down gently. And then I'm going to alternate petals, you know, so they don't sit one behind the other. And I'm going to press gently into the top center here with my pencil tool. And let that hang out while I make the trumpet. So for the trumpet, I'm going to use yellow gum paste. You could use any color that you want to. Massaging it. The size piece that I want should fit through the large hole of the petal pad. So let's see. A little big. It fits through pretty good. Yeah, there he is. So we'll use that size piece. About a pea-sized piece of paste. But it should fit easily through that large hole. I'm going to massage this and roll this into a ball. I'll press with the small ball tool lightly just to indent it. that. And then I'm going to use this small dog bone tool just to thin the edges around. So I'm pressing the small dog bone tool onto the paste using my finger as backing to thin it out. I've indented it slightly and then thinned out that edge. I'll take this down onto the soft side of my petal pad and I'm just going to soften it some more. So this action is I'm pressing down lightly and pulling away. Pressing down lightly and pulling away. And this gives it a bit of a frilly look. Not overly frilly as you would a daffodil though. Okay, then I'm going to take my smallest pencil tool. So if you have one this small, this is really ideal. If you didn't have one this small, I would probably use that blunt cocktail stick again, blunt toothpick. But I do. And I'm going to tap it into my dusting pouch a little bit so I'm sure that it doesn't stick. I'm going to poke it into the center of my trumpet. Not too deep, just a little bit, and definitely not all the way through. And then I'm going to press it around at an angle outward to make a hole there that will hold my base. So the hole is wider at the top than it is at the bottom. And by angling it, I make that happen. And again, make sure that you do not go all the way through. This is the fiddly bit. Prepared stem. Here you are. I'm going to brush a little gum glue onto the prepared stem, and again, not too much gum glue is needed for this. I'm going to stick the bottom part of the wire into the trumpet, top of the trumpet, slide it up, and if you'll look, you'll see that I'm just barely hooking it. I'm just barely hooking it there. I'm not pulling it in too deeply. It'll get deeper and deeper as we muck around with it a little bit more. So I'm just putting it in there so that it catches it before I move on. All right. Now here's my prepared Narcissus. I'm going to poke it in the center and then lift it out. And this way I can try to get it through the center here as best I can. And slide it up the stem. And I'll brush just a little bit of gum glue on the underside of my trumpet. And the indentation is there that will catch. And you don't need to press too far up, just enough to sort of catch it in that little indentation there. Okay. Now, I like to flip it upside down here and work with it upside down. I'm going to pinch and roll. Pinch gently and roll. So the wire is moving loosely in my left hand, and I'm pinching gently and rolling with my right hand. I'm starting not here at the bottom, but I'm starting about probably a 1/4 inch away from the very base of the Narcissus so that I don't thin out the base of the Narcissus too much and make it unstable. So I want to thin out the trumpet, the base of the flower a little bit and make it blend into the stem, but not cause my flower to be unstable. Then I'm going to flip it over. It's looking kind of pretty, isn't it? And insert my stamens.